how you view things really matters. And what happens? You know, everyone has control of their lives, and you can feel different ways, you can experience different things, and how you choose to view it. Like that's one of the things. You choose your responses, all right? That's one of the things that, like, it aggravates the living shit out of me, all right? I'm sorry about my Egyptian when I say that, but it aggravates the living shit out of me when I'm talking to someone and they're like, well, I don't have any control, all right? I'm angry, I'm upset, and I have no control of that. Bullshit. All right, I know I'm not supposed to cuss, but you know, fuck it. All right. Everyone here is above 18, hopefully. You know, are you?
Yes.
See, everyone here is above 18. I pick on her because she's my neighbor, all right?
We have a nice story of each other.
She doesn't have a choice.
I had to. Not that I'm not enjoying it, but I already heard the speech.
You did not. You heard a very small
I could
amount.
have given your green light, red light, yellow light, the little like thing. That was really good. I remember that from when you gave it to me when I was in Mount John.
And your dad just sit right next to you, like, You know, a lot of these things, realistically, a lot of these things, when I graduated high school, I had a 2.1 GPA. I was not a scholarly student by any means whatsoever. All right, I was a punk kid, getting into drugs and alcohol, getting into fights, and I was not, like, right now I have 3.82 GPA. I did not have that, anywhere near that. All right, and people said things to me, kind of like what I'm talking to you guys about. Right now I'm 31, and they said these things to me, and to be honest, I was too stupid to really actually understand them, and I didn't get it. You know, I didn't get that. You know, maybe I should listen. Maybe I should listen to what my parents are telling me. Maybe they probably have, you know, some type of, you know, knowledge of being ancient that I didn't have. But I was like, no, I know everything. Hell no. You know, and now here I am saying the exact same thing. But just with my flair. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was what's next. All right. How many of you are preparing for retirement?
I mean,
Yeah, it's like legitimate, like preparing for when you retire at 64 or less. No? If you say so. How many people know what they want to be when they get out of college?
well,
All right. What do you want to be?
a physician assistant.
Oh, one of my friends actually, she's a physician assistant. She just went and took the MCATs and got a 94 in it because she's like, no, I'm going doctor.
Wow.
What do you want to be? It's awesome. It's awesome. What do you want to be?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Well, it's a good thing that you came to college because this is where you spend thousands of dollars trying to figure it out. No, but that's one of the things, like understanding what's next. All right, not necessarily, you know, what is next for the next semester, but for the next couple of years. All right, have a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, 15, 20. You know, and they're obviously subject to change, but at least start planning. I never did that. I mean, I'm horrible with savings. That's why I'm trying to learn about the stock market so I can try and invest and, you know, doing that. And I'm 31, all right? You know, creating those plans and getting that idea of where you see yourself. Because I have a picture of it. It's I got it when I was a freshman in high school. My parents kicked me off the internet, so I still wanted to email my friends and stuff like that, like the girlfriends that I had in Germany and all that stupid freshman high school stuff. And so I created a Yahoo email account. That was back when Yahoo was popular, before Google existed. And I created an avatar of how I saw myself physically as an adult. I got one tattoo, but I'm all like sleeved out, just built. Alright, standing next to a grill with a snake right at my feet, just chilling. Alright, I'm pierced earrings, got a money chain around my neck. Tight muscle shirt. Oh yeah, like buzz cut.
I can see it now.
That's how I saw myself. I was retarded. But having that idea of what you want to be as better than that. All right, and formulating where you want to go now, so that you can find out different ways to get there. Because like I said, there's more than one way to success. There's infinitely, probably not infinitely, but there's a shit ton of different ways to get to where you want to go. It's about finding what works best for you. And one of those ways is experimentation and getting out there and trying different things, right? I wanted to work for NASA. I still do, right? And one of the things that I was talking to Dr. Metzger about it, Dean of the Honors College, so I was talking about it. And I told him, I was like, I want to work for NASA. I think it'd be cool. I've always wanted to go into space when I was a kid, and I still do. I'm just not wealthy enough to do it now. All right? But I want to work for NASA. So, knowing where I want to go, he set me up with Kimberly Wright, who's actually one of the advisors this semester for the Honors College. And she actually led a team that I'm part of. We're actually finishing up our undergraduate project, and it's the CubeSat project. So we're building a satellite for NASA, and we actually have vibration testing tomorrow morning over in Langley, so that it can actually go into space. So having my name on that project is going to help me get a job at NASA, hopefully. But it's knowing where you want to go. And if you want to go work as a park ranger, that's fine. If you want to work in the sewer system, kudos to you. You want to go save children in different countries, that's still awesome. Whatever you want to do, try and find a way to do it. Right? You said you didn't know what you wanted to do. That's perfectly fine. All right? But don't leave out anything. What I said in the beginning, don't automatically say no to other people and don't say no to yourself. Because there are ways in order to attain your goals. It depends on how much you want to work. And that's the honest truth when it really comes down. Who has ever heard of a man called Howard Gardner? Who's ever heard of the theory of multiple intelligences? You have?
Yes, very briefly.
Was it for me?
Yeah.
Damn it! Howard Gardner postularized his theory of multiple intelligences. It was more than 10 years ago, at least, because I wrote a paper on it back in 2009. And he postulated that there are 9 different ways that people learn, right? I'm not going to go into all of them, I'm just going to hit some of the big ones. Learning by seeing, so seeing something, you can learn from it. You can hear, So someone telling you and you hearing it. So seeing, hearing, doing. Everyone's heard these different things. So doing involves touching. You can get like a musical jingle to remember something. Like a lot of people who are musically inclined, like little jingles to help remember something. Like I memorized the French alphabet in a song in order to figure out how to say those damn letters. Right? And you know, there are some people who are more religious than others. So seeing something and relating it to your deity or something that you learned in some of your studies as a way to memorize and understand something. There's nature, you know, something that involves some of the natural things in this world, like how things move, how things grow, live their lives, die, and you know how the cycle continues as a way in order to learn certain subjects. So I wanted to bring that as an idea to everyone here is that, you know, a lot of times when you're in the classroom, right, you're usually exposed to the big two, which is seeing and hearing, right? A lot of times you're not really exposed to actually touching and doing. That's what comes with your homework. And those are usually the big three that you usually get through in college. What I wanted to bring up to you was that there are more than one way to actually learn. There are more than 3 ways to learn. There are a multitude of different ways to learn. It depends on what you're willing to try and how inventive are you really going to be. Because you can have some fun with anything. You know, when it comes to a subject that you don't like, have some fun with it. You know, what is a subject that you don't like?
You know I hate math.
English? All right. What is something that you like to do for fun? Okay. Watch Netflix. What about something else? You know what? Let's stick with Netflix.
Okay.
Let's stick with Netflix. All right. As in a way to get better in English. Reading, right? Can you read? That sounds a stupid question. I can't really read that quite well, and one of the things that I do to help me is that I put on the subtitles whenever I'm watching TV because my eyes are always drawn to the subtitles, so that increases my reading ability, is by using subtitles. So inventive ways of thinking about things as a way to help yourself with what you're bad at. You're not good at math, or you don't like math. You're not good at it?
You don't like. Hey, whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Start counting things when you come into work or come into school.
I do that.
Yeah.
When I was little, I used to always get outside and stuff.
Yeah?
That don't help me
Learn to play Sudoku. You'll be
much. Teach me how to play it. Yeah.
But it involves numbers. You know, a lot of people don't like things that they don't understand. So it's trying to find a way to understand them. I hated calculus until I learned how to understand it. And I can understand and explain calculus then. But until you get to that point, it's a pain in the ass. And that's with, you know, most of the things that we deal with is, you know, resisting the urge to immediately say, I don't like that, because we don't understand it. All right? And that's one of the things is that, you know, the different ways that you can learn, the different ways that you can teach yourself, the different ways you can understand the world around you are practically limitless. It just depends on how open you are and inventive you are to actually thinking about what you can do. I turned on the closed captions to try and get better at English. You know, now I can read faster. which helps if you're studying. You know, what are some of the things you guys have done?
Watch Spanish television.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and how does that help?
It helped me learn Spanish back in high school.
True. What's up?
Well, for some reason I can't learn while I'm sitting down. Well, I can't learn the best while sitting down, so I put my homework on my bed. And I'll be on my bed, so I have to stand up and I move around. And for some reason it helps me learn.
Okay. Who has ever heard of something called ADHD? Who has ADHD?
I feel like everyone has ADHD.
In their own way.
I drive a manual transmission car, and when I really get bored, I start changing lanes on the freeway.
Oh God.
All right. You have that too?
I don't do that. I just can't focus.
So, and it's been a learning process. I was on plenty of pills, you know, starting in first grade, because that was when they were legally allowed to, you know, treat ADHD with medicine in California. Was first grade, and then I was on there all the way up through high school, and I finally sophomore year of high school, like I just didn't want to take them anymore. Like I didn't like who I was. I was a toothpick. I was 113 pounds. I was a 113-pound freshman. Yes. And then I stopped taking them because they not only did they stunt your growth, but they also made you not as hungry. It was also an appetite suppressant, so I didn't really eat that much. I stopped taking them. I graduated as a senior at 196 pounds. Yeah. So, but the thing is that it was a challenge. Everything in life is a challenge. My challenge was to learn how to control myself when I constantly wanted to be out of control. And one of those things that I used was music. Who listens to music? It's freaking awesome, right? Who listens to R. Kelly?
Girl, that's not as cool as that R. Kelly.
Shania Twain. Country.
Dumbass.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
country?
he the country.
Good, me neither. You know, but different things for different reasons. And so I mean, I'll put on some older country. I'll put on some rock. I'll put on some rap. I mean, whatever fits, you know, my mood. Yeah, my emotional state in order to help me get back to where I need to be. All right, and that's one of the things that I use when I study. I listen to classical. It really does, because the thing is that when you are studying and you're listening to Tay Tay and you know all the words, I said it, and you know all the words, it's hard. Because you start singing love song and you just start serenading everyone else in the library. So, don't do that. But that's why, you know, I say listen to classical, because there are no words. Like, one of the things is that, you know, a lot of times I had issues with it, is that I started listening to my favorite songs, you know, songs that I knew that made me feel better, but then I ended up focusing on the songs and singing the damn songs instead of doing my work. So it didn't really help me very much. So that's when I got into classical, because as a way to still have that ambient noise, so that you don't have to, you're not listening to other people's conversations like a creeper, or just because you can't concentrate, right? And still be able to focus on what you're doing. So those are different ways that I've used music to help me, not necessarily scholastically, but also in life as well. But there are other things like physical fitness that can help you relieve some tension. Who likes getting massages? Go get a massage. I don't know if they have it on campus.
Oh yeah, I saw them. Remember? walking in, they're like, massage.
Yeah, get a massage. It's fine. It's wonderful. Deep tissue, 60-minute. I'm passed out. You know, most people have tension in their upper body because of posture. I've got horrible posture. It's just one of those things. And you know, getting that will help you out. Go see a chiropractor or something like that. That's what they're for. You know, taking care of your body is also as important as taking care of your mind. I've got a little fat. That's why I'm started going back into martial arts in order to get myself back to where I used to be. I lose about 40 pounds and I'm golden again. Maybe 30. You know, but finding different ways in order to cope with reality is very important, because you don't want to be that person who tries to escape reality, all right, and stay there. I mean, they're, you know, playing video games. I'm a gamer. I like to go out. I like to, you know, explore the different worlds that, you know, some people can create in their imagination, you know, and just have fun. But there's a difference between doing that and having fun and doing that to escape. A lot of times people go and try to find an escape from the world because they don't know how to deal with it, right? When that happens, that's when you go and talk to someone, right? That's when you reach out and you tell someone that you trust what's going on. That's when you release those oxytocin molecules, hormones. Yes, that's it. So do that, and it's going to help you. You know, there's a very long time in my life where thoughts of suicide were very prominent for me. Tried to kill myself actually a couple times just because I didn't know how to deal with life. I felt that there was no one there. There was no one there for me. There was no one there with me. I remember the last time I was on the fourth story balcony, and you know, I had broken up with my girlfriend, and I thought that my life was over, and I just didn't want to go on without her. It was just stupid. And there were some other things. My niece just died at 2 years old. I didn't really know how to deal with it. I didn't want to live anymore. And I went to the fourth story balcony. I climbed over the railing, and I was hanging off. And I let go. Like I was committed. I was going. I let go, and I was in the process of falling forward to my death. And my best friend and the woman who actually will be my best man at my wedding, she cowhooked me. She cowhooked me from behind underneath the shoulders and stopped me. She almost fell with me, and she stopped me from falling. You know, that was when I was small. Right? She could do that. But you know, that's one of those things that I'd gotten so far down the rabbit hole I didn't know how to get out. And that's one of those things that I think a lot of people in this room know exactly what I'm talking about. And that quite honestly, it's okay. It is okay to feel that way. Because I guarantee that there has been someone else in our world's history that has felt the exact same way. And that there are people and places that all of us can go and talk to and be at that can help us with everything. And that's the world that we live in. And that is not necessarily, you know, doesn't have to be for, you know, the big issue of suicide, but also for tutoring, help, for study, for life, relationships, math. But that is what is around you, and it is up to each and every one of you to raise your hand and go and say something. Because if you don't, it's just gonna get worse. And this may not be how you feel right now. Maybe it might be, maybe it might not. But there will be a time, if it hasn't already happened or may happen in the future, where you are gonna be faced with a decision and you can choose your reaction. You can choose. Everyone has freedom of choice, right? You can choose to continue going down that rabbit hole, or you can choose to stand strong and be better because of it and succeed. It may be very shitty and it may not be, as pleasant as you might like in order to bounce back from whatever happened. But it's possible. There are people who have lived that you can Google, because we have internet, it's cool, right? That you can figure out what you can do to do better. And this, I know I'm kind of deviating from the actual success in college type thing to life, but this is something that I wish I would have actually really learned when I was in your shoes, because it would have helped me through a lot of stuff that I didn't know I could actually ask for help for. Does that make sense? So, cool. I don't really have anything else. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right, well, the second session is, it is in the middle of next month. I believe it's also an email. I encourage each and every one of you to go to that session, because at the end of it, I wanted the second session to be kind of after the first round of tests, because if for some reason someone didn't come here, or one of you here, ends up just bombing a test or whatever, and just trying to get that extra help, I wanted to be there both before and after, just in case you needed help, whoever that may be, or whatever that may be. But the second section, at the end of it, I've done a lot of public speaking, I've done a lot of mentoring to a lot of different people, in a lot of different places in the world. And whenever there's a speech that I give, whenever I have one of my Marines or one of my underlings get promoted and become equal to me, when they become my rank, and have all the duties and privileges that I have, and have the same roles and responsibilities that I had at that time, there is a speech that I give to them as a welcome to my world type speech. And it deals a lot with philosophy, and is specifically tailored to philosophy, and is a story from Plato. And that is something that we'll be giving at the end of my next presentation. And I encourage you all to come, because if out of everything that I've spoken to you about today, I guarantee that what I tell you at the end of my next session will be the most profound thing I'll ever tell you. And it is what I wish I knew when I was in your shoes. If I would have just known this, if I had just been told this one story, it would have opened my eyes to so many different possibilities. I still wouldn't know what to do, but I'd be better off because of it. but I encourage you all to be there. Thank you very much for your time.